let's get back to it. What were we talking about?
You are, and yeah. we tend to go off on tangents and sakumbulisha.
Okay. Let's talk about your upcoming trip to the Congo.
Okay. So Thursday I'm flying out to Congo, DRC. I want to raise awareness on the war on Congo's minerals. So what's happening is that reports, let me just say, M23, no. Okay. Armed militia groups in the eastern part of DRC are looting minerals from eastern DRC. And in their looting, they are displacing people. So they're chasing people out of their homes, killing some in the process, sexually assaulting women and children in the process, and enslaving some in the process. So forcing them to work, to mine the land. One of the, I suppose, most relevant minerals right now is coltan, which is used in to make our batteries, yes. So yeah, they want that coltan because now we're in the tech era. So that mineral is imperative in creating technological devices. So that is that's what's happening in Eastern DRC. And I just want to raise awareness on that. And I want to champion that. I want us as Africans to champion that. So my platform is mostly South Africans, Black South Africans, Black Africans. And I think it's important that we are the ones who speak on this and champion this movement and push it forward. Because we're Black. No, we don't have allies, really. No one cares what's happening in Africa to Black Africans. So we really need to care about this thing, and we really need to be serious about it. So the biggest call to action is we're not buying any new tech. He will explain why he's laughing.
Okay.
We're not buying new tech, Itu. We are buying refurbished tech and pre-owned quality tech. We are not buying new tech. So I don't want to see a new camera on this podcast.
And what's the logic behind that?
The logic is that we want to drive down tech sales. Because if we can drive down tech sales, we can drive down the demand for coltan. So when a tech companies are like, guys, our hands are clean. There's nothing we can do because the guys that we get the coltan from, they are certified. We're saying, okay, cool. We just then won't buy what you use to make the tech. So, we just won't buy the tech that you use the minerals to make. We just won't buy the tech. We're hoping to drive down the sales so that when the tech company calls next month, they'll order 1 ton of coltan instead of 4, like they did last month. And so the guys who are looting coltan there in Eastern DRC, they'll be like, oh, damn, this thing is not as profitable as it used to be. How can we get it to become profitable again? Then they'll come back down and they can have talks with the people of the DRC, with the landowners from whom they stole this land, with the lawyers and of these types of things, and they can come to an agreement. Fair pay for work. They should lease the land from the Congolese people who own this mineral-rich land, They should include them in management, and they should give them a cut, etc. Proper business practice, guys, that is done in other parts of the world. Congolese people deserve that as well. And just because they are uneducated for the most part, because these are usually these mineral-rich places are usually villages. So these are farmers. They're not. I don't think they are even in mining. It's not like the armed militia come in and bulldoze a mining big boss. Overthrow a mine. It's farmers. These guys are farmers. So bring them in, teach them, and we want you to teach them how to run these mines. Teach them how to run the mines. Don't say, oh, well, they don't know how to do it, so we're going to do it for them. Don't do anything for them. You're going to teach them. You're going to teach them how to run these mines. You're going to pay them fairly for their land, etc., etc., etc. And they will actually get the biggest benefit from having these minerals under their home soil. So that's what ultimately we want to do. We do understand, guys, that it will probably take generations. I probably won't even be alive to see that day. But I feel it's important for us to use our voices, our platforms as Black Africans to push this. Because our European and whatever white allies, they usually come when they see that we are serious. They won't start anything for us. They won't. They have to see us making a noise and being serious. Then they'll be like, oh, what are those ones making a noise about? What is that? What's that? Oh, okay. And then they'll use their white, influential, weighty platforms and voices to help us with this.
I get the attempt. I get the hope.
Yes.
Nah? But I'm cynical. You know, like my cynicism comes from what we've been talking about.
Yes.
You know, today we have acknowledged that the value of an African life, the value of a Black life is not equal to certain other lives, you know, even to other Africans.
Yes, yes.
And because of that disassociation that we have when it comes to Black pain, the situation in the Congo is nothing new, and it is unlikely, like you said, to be something that's going to be undone in one generation or in our lifetime.
Can I go back to what you said about Thomas Sankara and how he used education?
Yeah.
So I think we are now we are still in the very beginning phases of this. And I think our aim right now is just to educate and raise awareness. I don't think we're even trying to change anything.
Okay.
It's very much, I personally want to make it cool to care for the Congo. When you think about the Congo, I want you to feel cool for caring and for knowing, you know. That's what I want to build around that. That's why I'm always talking about it. So I think what we're doing right now is awareness. We want everyone to know what's happening, and we want it to be trendy and cloutish to care about the DRC. Yeah. And you'll see in the way that I'm going to go about it. I'm not gonna just be like a news reporter today in the Congo. No. It's not gonna be like that. You know, I'm going to use creativity to get people to buy into this thing, to get people to watch it and say, what's this? Oh, okay. And then forget it. And then they'll keep coming back because I'm going to keep making interesting videos that people are going to want to watch, whether they care about the Congo or not. But the video in and of itself will be interesting, you know. So I think for me, that's the aim, just education at this point, awareness. Because maybe in our generation, we will make more people aware. Then the next generation will probably have some call to actions that will be more successful than this one of don't buy new tech, you know. And then the next generation will build on that. But I do want to start, even though I will probably not live to see the end of this war. But I do want to start this war. And I want to say this war will end it too. I hope 100 years from now they dig up this fucking war is gonna end. It cannot be forever. I'm sorry. I refuse to accept that there will always be war in Eastern DRC. No. It's gonna end, and the Congolese people are gonna win. Because sometimes wars end, but the people lose. Some, you know, the wrong side loses one. The people of the Congo will own their land. They will win this war. Itu. This war's gonna end. Itu. I promise you.
How are they going to own their land when we don't?
Wow. I love that.
Like, honestly, like we were talking about how your friends matter, like how the world operates on the same basis as the playground, and your friends matter. South Africa is in a position where I am hopeful that our strength will only increase, but then I am skeptical because South Africa and the majority of the South African population unfortunately does not have the connections, the wealth, and the backing of the sovereign power of this nation of ours to do anything significant to help our neighbors. Because it's not in the best of interests of those people that own the wealth of these nations in Africa.
I get
when you look at South Africa, when you look at the top 20 biggest companies in Africa, 10 of them are South African. Like the top 10 is South African. But none of that top 10 has a majority black shareholder base. It's mostly white owned. So for us to do something, you really need to have the private sector. You really need to have the weight of the shakers and movers, the captains of industry. If the captains of industry are not representative of the majority of South African society, they view the Congo and its people in very much the same way that we've been discussing. That's very desensitized. Like it's happening to people, but it's happening to people there. And those people, the idea of personhood that you have of those people is very much the same as the one when you view the lady that helps you at the grocery store, the guy that fills your petrol. They exist in that moment that they're in front of you.
I hear you. So how will they own their land if we don't own ours? Itu jonga. I know, bana. Let's not. What if they will own theirs first, and by owning theirs, we will be able to own ours?
No, it does not work, and it does not work because the Congo is supposed to be the wealthiest country in the world based on their reserves of every natural resource imaginable. Gold, oil, copper, this, whatever it might be, they have it.
Okay.
And because they have it is the reason why they are in that situation. Because if the Congo would ever be the roaring tiger that it is,
yeah.
Whoa, world watch out.
Yes.
World watch out. And so to keep it in that state is beneficial to the status quo.
You know what, Itune? Lovely. Thank you for actually waking me up to the reality of it. But you would know more than me. How do we get them to own their land? What would have to happen, even if it's not realistic? Just let me know, because I would like to know. I just need to know it so that I know how to sort of channel my thoughts when I'm doing my work.
I think you're on the right track. It's just my cynicism does not come from saying it is impossible. It's just saying it's not going to be an overnight thing.
No. I get
so
that.
Raising the awareness is it's critical. Like you can't fix a problem if people do not know about it. So raising the awareness is critical. I would hope that the awareness reaches the right people.
Yes, which is what you did mention.
Like it reaches the
it
right.
Has to reach the right.
It reaches the most influential people.
Yes.
Not necessarily a lot of people, but it reaches the most influential people.
Yes, and I think it will over time. I think I'm not influential in that way, but I think if I can let it reach as many uninfluential people as possible, those uninfluential people, some of them might reach more influential people. So influential as in they don't have big platforms, but they might know someone. They might even not know the guy. They know 5 guys down the line. Then that guy knows a slightly bigger guy. Go on. So now what I'm trying to get is the biggest number of uninfluential people, or people that I think are uninfluential. So those are just normal everyday popsicles. 9-to-5 girlies. Okay. With big hearts. Come on. They're going to go around yakking. They don't even know that someone is a bit influential in this room. They're just talking. They're just chatting. But when they're chatting in those rooms, I want them to have Congo top of mind. And I don't even want them to talk about the DRC as somewhere that needs saving and we need to do something, guys. No. They're just trying to sound smart. Like they know something that's happening. But they had a braai, they drinking wine. Did you hear about the Congo? They don't mean it. They just yakking. Then take Andy, someone with slightly more, just slightly more. Oh, Ave. You care about that? I didn't care about that. I'm not gonna buy new take. But Uzbani, cousin Gazbani, she cares. Let me look into it. And then now clever slightly. So I understand, but it's gonna take time.
That's a very African thing, that Africans have that thing of to change a person's mind, you have to either embarrass them or show them to be wrong in front of people they respect. You know? Like,
okay, I get yeah.
In front of the young men, in front of the beautiful girls, in front of
I almost wanted to say a guy who was saying, I'm not gonna buy new take, but because the woman is beautiful, who's saying it, he's like, I like her. She's pretty, and she's talking about she likes the DRC. She cares about the DRC. I kind of wanna date her.
Listen, if girls liked Matt's nerds, I'll promise you, teenage boys will be walking around with compasses in their back pockets. I promise you.
Okay, so what if we try something and say, can we get women to care about the Congo? And can we get them to talk about pillow talk? Do you think that would work? It might. I'm gonna start making it pillow talk. I'm gonna start reminding the popsicles, guys, can you please include this in pillow talk? And men don't like their minds to be changed. Don't try to educate the guy or make him sway. Just mention it. But I remember Popi, we were just talking about Congo. Leave it. No, I think it might work. It do.
Why do you think men don't like their minds being changed?
Oh, men are obstinate. They don't. Amadoda aqine inhloko masiqalapho nje naturally. And then ke ngoku, the way you guys have been socialized to view women as your inferiors, you objectify, nice boobs, okay, whatever. But we're not gonna go into business, you know? So you guys, when we talk, I mind by a woman. Number one is, why didn't we know about this? Oh, well, we don't care. Is there no Pope? I fucked with mom. And then if it's there now, then you know? So
that's true, because I've been in situations where a woman raised a action point in a meeting when I still worked for South African companies.
Yes.
And it would not be fully heard.
Yes.
But
it's
then,
like,
a few weeks later, a very similar idea would be put forward by a man, black or white, but a man would put forward the same idea.
Exactly.
And all of a sudden, there's some substance there.
Exactly. So I do actually, you know what? I encourage, because I'm sure is your audience mostly male?
Mostly women. 60-something% women.
Okay, whereas mine is 80% something women. So you have more men than me.
Okay.
And the few men that you do have do listen to you more than they listen to me. So I'm actually happy I'm here, because then finally Lendo Yase Congo, maybe it might reach some black men, because it definitely does not reach black men on my platform. So now that I'm here talking to a black man about it, you know, can you guys please listen? Can you run this back, please? Okay. So yeah, we do small, and this is the thing about. So you spoke about to pay in IV, or even by us sometimes, but I think we need to obviously the points you raised were valid, but now you are skeptical. No. But I think it isn't what we need right now. The loudest voice that we need to hear is we can do it as Africans. And I think a big part of it is you've never seen us do it. Come on. You've never seen us win. I've never seen us win. No one's ever seen us win. See and say into and topple it. I even spoke about white allies and how we need them to come through for us. No. We hardly see man into enati in the center. Sikwazi ngokwethu iphequlula siyithi yebo. So I think it is important to don't inform us of reality, but I think we already know the reality. And I think into esiyidingayo ngoku is like encouragement, but you know what, we can do it. Sizawuyenza guys. Ezinye izinto itu we don't achieve them because they were practical or it was so obvious. It's the mind. It's because you grew up uxelelwa ba no usabanga ugqirha. It's not so much that we were born ugqirha okanye your maths marks have always been high or just lanto mani waxelelwa kweni ba hayi ke apha singogqirha ke so uzabanga uphela ungugqirha njalo. Ewe obviously you do put in the work. But it was
the
more
seed has to be planted.
So I feel like the same works the opposite way. But if you always told you nothing, you're going to be nothing, that seed is also planted. So I feel like, say plantiwe leyo ba, it's going to take time. Say plantiwe leyo ba, asibonwa thina. Say that's been planted. We don't need any more of that. We know that. I know that. You don't have to tell me that. What I would appreciate is, can you please plant some seeds of positivity? Can you please encourage? You know what? I think that is going to move us forward more than nattering on and on about how it might be impractical. So I think that's also something I'm trying to do. Even if you watch my stories, the way I speak about Congo, and yay guys, we can do it. And I think this lady is a popsicle. There was a video that was saying this and that, and you know, the tech companies won a court case that cleared them of this, you know. And that lady, the words she used, she says, guys, we as the buyers do have the power. We can do it. Come on, she used the language that I use. I was like, I don't know, she might be a popsicle, she might just be a lady, you know, just coincidence. But I was like, guys, baqalisa abantu. Funeka guys, before we win this thing, funeka sizixelele ba siwinile lento, and you'll see how we will move. You'll see how izinto zawuhlangana. You'll see how izinto zawuhlangana. When we believe ba into sizayinqoba, the way we move, man, just the way we move, iba different. The way things come. So this comes back to spirituality then, which I'm not sure is spiritual.
Oh man.
That thing of I am a god, yakumbul. I am a god. It made me quit my job. Just based off of reading and believing it. That drove me to quit my job just based off of positive. There was nothing. I told you I had 600 followers. I had 5,000 rands in my bank account. That's no reason to quit your job. Come on. Stop it. Stay in school. But it was that thinking. And look at where I am now. Based off of things, it started with just thoughts. I had nothing tangible. And I feel like sikwesa stage ngokuba asinanto itu.
But you have to do something.
Yes. But with the little we have to do something. And let's focus here. Because go to this, what you see here is born out of here. So if you can nurture this, sizayibona. And andiyazi itu how. Don't ask me how, I don't know. But uzayibona izakwenzeka. So if you can focus here, izawuzenzekelele eCongo. And we will put in work. So abantu are gonna hear me say izawuzenzekelele. Oh, Popi bazawuphola bathi hayi Popi akuzokwenzeka. No. We're gonna put in work.
You mentioned that you are collecting books.
Books,
for your
yes,
trip.
thank you. Where I am collecting children's books for the children abase Goma in the camps for internally displaced people. So I suppose, I mean, there was this one camp that I visited. There was one school. There were hundreds of kids. So I don't think they were getting good education where they were, but I think now it's even worse. So yeah, I'm doing a book drive.
I know you have limited storage for the books
Yeah.
you're gonna take. Is there an alternative where people can send in books into?
Yes, so abantu can post books straight to Goma. So I'm gonna give you the address and then
Okay.
you can attach it.
Yeah.
They can send books straight to Goma. So what I want now, I don't speak French and I'm not gonna learn French. I'm gonna speak to those kids in English because English is the language of business, and so it's not like they are at a disadvantage from hearing English. So I'm gonna read to them English books. Some people will send French books, which is great. I'm gonna read to them in English. I'm gonna count in English, and we're just gonna speak English, and we're gonna have bedtime stories. That's my little contribution. Can you see that it has nothing to do with now content, really? But nje man, it was sometimes I always say ekongo ndiyovela mna. Ndiyobavelela. Cha, sometimes you need that.
Someone cares.
Siba aninodwanga kule nto guys. Ewe anina-powers, anamala, namntu, uncle loteni, but I see you, and ndizawuthetha nabantu endibaziyo ngani, and I'm gonna read these bedtime stories to you, and I'm gonna be here with you, and that changes things. It might not stop the war, but it does have an impact, and I think whatever we can do, we have to do it. When they read back, when the archaeologists dig up these books and these videos, they must see that abantu were cared for, guys. Babegadiwe, South Africans were here, Ghanaians were here. Kwaziwa sazobavelela. Sasikhona.
And the thing is, I don't feel South Africa does enough for our neighbors, you know? And I say this because they were there for us during apartheid. When people were in exile, they were not all in the UK, they were not in the US, they were in Zimbabwe. Yeah, they were right around the corner. And so for us for so long to have turned our backs on them to a point where I'm sure, as much as South Africa might be seen as a positive light in Africa, South Africans themselves and the treatment of our brothers and sisters, and these people have people back home, they say, "Kote is you know?
And it's actually, I found that it's all classes of African immigrants. So I have friends, rich friends, who come from money back in their hometowns, and they come here, and they go to private schools and they get the best of the best. And they hate South Africa. They don't like it. They always say, your Pops now wasn't treated well in that country. I'm like, really? I thought being crop of the cream, whatnot, you would have gotten a great experience. And they were like, no, even in those spaces, we are othered. So now that's why of opening borders, free movement protocol and all these policies, I'm like, I'm not averse to South Africa coming up with ways in which we can help our neighbors. Like, let's come up with policies that will, yes, benefit us, but also help our neighbors. Like, and the Funland, oh, what are we getting out of it? Oh, okay. It's na andi mind ba nabanye maba benefit. I can't do wrong. Because the sooner we help those around us, the better off we will be as well.
Thabo Mbeki always says this when he says it is incumbent on the leaders of Africa to, to call each other out when they're misbehaving. Like Mr. President, no, this one that you've done now is not the one, and unfortunately we do not do that in Africa. Like our leaders.
Rwanda. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah.
Hey, I'm conflicted with Rwanda because
Okay.
Paul is... Man, there's a book. Okay, let me start with this book.
Because you can already see where I am standing. Tell me, please.
There's a book by a guy named John Perkins called Confessions of an Economic Hitman. There's actually a revised version of it that I haven't gotten, so I want that revised version. But basically, the book is written by a former CIA analyst.
Okay.
That outlines how the secret services of all these countries around the world have dedicated people that go into other countries and make sure that the interests of that country are protected there. Okay. And that translates in Africa, where if you are ex-president and ex-president like Thomas Sankara wants to do things that are in the best interest of Burkina Faso, France in that situation is like, if this dude does what he wants to do, which is in the best interest of his country, it is in contradiction with our interest in that country.
Yes.
And so they have the means to make sure that ex-president does not get to that goal that he's outlined.
Yes. Okay.
That's the unfortunate thing that happens with us, where our best of intentions in a perfect world would work out, but it's not a perfect world. There are nefarious, parties out there that have very unsavory intentions for others, and because of that, my cynicism comes back. Who's gonna watch and let us do the things we need to do to change circumstances?
Okay. Yes.
And in understanding that, you look at someone like Paul Kagame and you're like, this is a man that understands the ins and outs of this world, understands the meetings and the discussions that are held in private and in public, in order to circumvent the actions that outside parties would be the options that outside parties might have in your country. There's certain things you have to do to make sure that your grip on the means of power is as firm as possible.
You know what, Yazi, I'm not even referring to that. We're gonna have to have it offline because I still have to travel to Rwanda soon, and you know what it is. Okay. So when they look me up, can they see slap on the wrist? Don't do it again. And then let me go. Okay. But there's a lot. So I understand dictatorship, whatever. That's not even what I'm talking about. There are other things that are happening there or by that country that I'm going to question. I'm going to say, what do you think about this?
Okay.
Do you justify this? Okay. Do you justify? And then maybe you can answer me based on what you've read and what you know. Yeah. Yeah, but
okay,
not.
We'll talk about
yeah, we'll talk about it.
Yeah. You mentioned that you have a journal.
Oh yes, sex journal.
How did that come about, and how's the reception of it?
So my sex journal is basically some highlights on my Instagram close friends, where I just share my experiences of dating and interacting with the men that I meet on my travels. Okay. So it's mostly African men. Okay. So it talks about sex, dating, etc. And I think what really comes out of it is like La Matota are doing us dirty. You know, people will say, oh man, I want to date a Congolese guy or a Nigerian guy. Bayafana. Bayafana. And so in the sex journal, I write about, I speak about, it's videos. I speak about, guys, amadoda outside of South Africa tend to marry early, marry young, and they marry for proper reasons, like they need promotions at work. So I was chilling with Congolese women, and they were saying it's mostly married men who get promoted at work.
Ooh,
So kuyachadwa.
stability.
Yes, kuyachadwa kula mazwe, dude. And they meet abantu babo in varsity already. So by the time I come as a 29-year-old South African, bachatile abantu.
For like 5 years.
Yes, bachatile. And I'm South African. I'm not even from that country. So it's not as easy as us fetishize about they tall, dark, and handsome. They're not as accessible as we would like to think that they are. They don't go out alone. Like solo hamba nepartner. You hardly find a single, handsome man with money sitting alone at a bar. So as it's in go to a nice bar, hotel bar. I've tried it, guys. And people will look at me and think she's not going to the right hotel. I've been to every hotel. I go to the most expensive ones to the bars because I'm trying to enter a bar, sit alone at a bar. Women don't dine alone; they always with a man. So a culture, it's not conducive to, I suppose, dating outsiders. I have a married friend at Goma. She was introduced to her husband by a cousin. So lokho kusenzeka ezazinto. Inqabile ba abantu hayi badibane pha kude ebudaleni ke phofu yebo. So I talk about those challenges. So people like to think, oh, she must be having lots of sex with hot men. And look, sex is accessible, but it's usually with broke guys.
Ooh.
Yes, because it. No, you don't understand. The successful guys are taken. Taken. Inqabile, to find a single successful guy outside of SA, inqabile. They snatch him up.
And when, as a very exceptional black woman, the more exceptional a woman in general becomes, the smaller the dating pool gets.
Yeah.
What's your experiences in Africa? White
But yeah, I mean, amadoda tend to be jealous of the work that I do. Not even the work, but I think the exposure that I have. So when I meet a guy, I'll say, oh, I'm a travel vlogger, don't. And they'll think, oh, okay, cool, she works online, does a social media, okay, cool. And they'll actually be fans of the work in the beginning. They'll stan. And then, it's quite something, right? Then they're like, no, I'm not helping you. There was this one guy in Congo. We were supposed to go out on a date. It was for charity. So, abantu were going to subscribe to close friends to see my date. Come on, people like dating, don't they? Like that romance shit. So, we were going to go on a date, and then the money that I make from close friends, I was going to donate to a Congolese charity. The guy, no, I'm happy now.
Just like that.
So, yeah.
What did he see that changed his mind?
Well, I did send him this emoji.
For? Oh, did he really know your social media?
Yes.
Okay.
So I sent this emoji. But the way he blew up. Would you blow up if someone sent you this emoji? It was his qabana. He was being a dick. I called him out, and they don't like to be called out. Men generally, African men don't like that. They don't like to be called out on their bullshit. So I sent this emoji. He knows, but this is for charity. The coupe still, and then I feel like he messed with my bag. I'll never forget.
Do they ever try to actually sabotage you?
No, but by a time we control the show. So they'll say, Popi, one even. you're so boring. Do this. He wanted me to do what he wanted.
Yeah.
You know, you came here, there was a show. Now they like to wanna attach themselves to the show, but not just attach, but conquer it again. Like, so, oh, you ran the puppy show. Oh, nice. Let me see it. Oh, it's cool. Do this. Do that. When I air an episode, he wants it to have been his idea. He wants to be able to say, oh, that's my idea. You add my idea. That's fine. That happens in any relationship, but it's going to take time. So, funu executive producer or whatever it's called, like that thing takes time. As we learn each other and as you become influential in my life, naturally I influence the show. But when bafuna in the first week mama ideas, then I'm like
so where do you see your future in the next 3 to 5 years?
And I'm not even trying to sound cool or nonchalant. I don't know, because technically, ingati, it should be a lease agreement with a streaming platform.
Okay.
Come on.
Yeah, definitely.
It should be millions. But I'm open to that. If anyone's watching from a streaming platform, I'm open to that. I'm great. Let's do it. But as of recently, I just want to do good in the world. Ingasele show.
I get that.
I actually wanna make it stop being about me and about something.
Definitely.
Issues that matter, yeah. Because right now it's me. I'm a travel vlogger. I'm here, I'm there. Look at me, yebo. Which is great, whatever. But I say, I cooler man, ibe into bigger than me. Ibe indawo where people come to view Africa and the world in a good light. Ibe indawo where asithe into siyayenza mfo iyenzeka, you know. Nje mani indawo yabantu. I just yeah, but from a capital perspective, yeah, streaming what but from what I want,
I get the need to have something that's yours, you know, like I get that need, like that thing of this is mine, you know, like this is mine, but at the same time, in me seeing it as mine, it is meant to become something bigger than what I can do with it.
Yes.
You know, like the reason why I started the podcast is to just create a platform where people can see themselves.
Yes.
You know, if it was born, it was born. It was like you said, once you can see it, you can do it. You know, because now I can guarantee even just one. There's some girl out there seeing a Popi on her phone, like, I also want to be her. Like the two Dutch ladies that influenced you.
Yes.
You have influenced more people than you know. You know, like you've touched so many lives for generations. For generations. The moments that have happened that have brought you to where you are in life, I don't think they are a coincidence. I don't believe in destiny, but I do not believe in coincidences.
Okay.
I believe things happen in such a way that each moment that you are on this planet is an opportunity. It's up to you if you take the opportunity. You can take it now or you can take it when you're 60.
Yes.
And for most people, I think they were thrust into the bravery to do the thing they've always wanted to do because of lockdowns, because of COVID, because they found themselves.
Remember Grace? Yeah, I just thought of Grace. Yeah,
but besides Grace, but like so many people often say the story after 2020 that
COVID.
I lost my job. And losing a job for some people is losing their identity, their pride. You know, I'm a lawyer, I'm a whatever. And then all of a sudden, nope, it's just a person. And you remember that the person you are wanted to open a restaurant. You remember the person that you are wanted to travel. The person that you are wanted to do X, Y, and Z. And then I know so many people that went to law school that are chefs now or photographers. I'm like, wow, what happened?
Beautiful
situation presented itself.
Yes, and they took it.
It presented itself in a way that we are not accustomed to things as seen as opportunities presenting themselves, because losing your job cannot be seen as an opportunity, but if your perspective is such that you see things as being half full and empty, then they become what you see them.
And I believe the universe is always speaking to us. So when you lose your job, man, and uvelu but here's my opportunity, but it can't be that losing my job is an opportunity. But I believe knowledge. You're very aware of your own life and the patterns of your own life. You always know what's happening. And honestly, I don't think let me not. I nearly said I don't think losing your job is a surprise for most people, but let's not get into that. It might be sham. I've never lost my job, so I don't know what it looks like. But man, it's so local. Something's always speaking to you. So when that opportunity when you lose your job and that opportunity arises, I don't think subi inde ibe khona into ibe mani thetha nawe, so that by the time you lose your job, it's like, okay, here's your opportunity, do it. So we need to always says, listen to your life. It's always speaking to you. Ubombako has patterns that you know intricately because you've been living it for so long. So if you listen, you'll see, but even losing a job can be an opportunity. Even losing a relationship, you would know this, but let's not. Okay, yeah. So listen to your life.
I started listening to that voice. I started listening to that voice when I got to a point where I was asking myself, why am I waking up every day? And honestly, you were talking about how you took this chance to start the Popi Show when you had like 5K in your account. And for me, the rush to start the podcast was, hey, you said you're going to do something. You lived in Cape Town for 5 years and you said you're going to move to Johannesburg and start a podcast. Why haven't you done that? Just that voice in my head. For the first 3 months when I moved here, I'm like, I need to settle.
Yeah, I'm settling. I'm settling.
And then 6 months later,
give me time.
I don't know, man. There's always that thing. There's always that picture you have in your head. It has to be where, people that want to start to die. I'll start when the first of the month.
Yeah, the first of the month.
I need to get that shoe first. I need to get, those tights first. I need to, just start.
Yeah.
Just start. Whatever it is you want to do, just fucking start. You figure it out along the way.
Yes.
I am 10 episodes in, and this episode versus the first episode, I'm like, did not even think about that. And this, I'm probably going to learn something from this episode. I'm like, that did not even occur to me, but I'm improving. Every day I'm improving. I'm seeing where it's going, and the pride that I have that just one person listened to the poem. I'm like,
really? You sat through this? Whoa. And you got something from it? What were when you were in that process of being like, it's been 3 months, it's been 6 months, were you physically sick? You get sick.
Yeah, when I'm not in a good space, I gain weight. When I'm not in a good space, I gain weight. I just sink into when I'm in a good space, I wake up early. I have a routine,
And for because they're busy, they're happy. I'm filled with the ideas.
And when I looked myself in the mirror at some point near the end of last year, and I'm like, who the fuck is that dude? Who's that guy?
He's making money. He's going to work every day. But it dreams. Those things matter, bro. And those things will wake you up at night.
Man.
And that's what I appreciate about the universe or God or whatever. Guys, lanto iyakuzama throughout your whole life. Imani kut. See, podcast. It never leaves you. And I'm so grateful for that because that's how I came to be here. It never left me. Dandi gula. I thought about it all the time. I was so unhappy at work. Every day it reminded me, but leave this place. Leave. Go do that thing that you are dreaming of. And it's gonna feed you.
Yeah.
I always knew.
And I think, unfortunately for us, Abana Bamnyama, my first choice when I wanted to go to university was law. And
you would have made a great lawyer, dude. But you still have time. You would have made a fantastic
it was
lawyer.
Law, political science, or history.
Yes.
And law basically combines all those things.
Yes.
And the calculation that I did was influenced heavily by my situation at home, where I'm like, I'm from the townships. If I go into law, that's 10 years of my life before I actually start making money.
I hear you.
That's 10 years of my life.
hear
I know people that only in their early 30s as lawyers, they start.
It's
now,
quite slow. I know some lawyers. I know some lawyers. It's quite a slow start.
Man. And I was like, if you do tech, bro, you don't even need to go to school, but go to school.
Yeah, go to
school.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, but you'll be okay.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but then that gave me the foundation to set up myself in such a situation. I'm like, if anything happens to me after this point, mom is sorted.
Yes.
That was very important to me. Like
okay.
anything that happens to me at this point, mom is sorted.
But then are you getting la fulfillment of law and political what in this tech job? But are you happy then? Okanya, are you?
Because I work with international brands and international people and all this, I've noticed, like me being the person that I am, I observe. Like my favorite thing to do is just people watch.
Okay.
Just go somewhere, cafe, somewhere, the gym, even anywhere, and just watch people.
Yeah.
And what I've observed with the people that I work with in the past 5 years, as opposed to the previous 5 years when I worked with South African people, South African companies, is people from first world countries really love what they do.
Okay.
Like whatever they do, whatever it might be, it was the thing they wanted to do. It was not circumstances that drove them to that. Like I will have meetings with people from the UK, India, whatever. And okay, not India, UK, the US, Australia, and the excitement they have for, I'm like, bro.
Yeah.
Bro.
I saw that as well.
I'm friends with very brilliant black people that also work in the international space. And to a level, we both understand Ukuti, Spanish. Like,
I mean, we're good at it.
And this dude will have a master's degree, PhD. No. But you can see Ukuti, Spanish for this person. Like they might have been an artist at heart, but they understood Ukuti. Hey, that painting or that guitar is not going to pay the rent, and their parents instilled that in them,
Okay.
And so I think we suffer from that. Okay. That's part of our disadvantage, that some of the privileged do not even appreciate enough, So there's that. There's that. There is that appreciation ukuthi things are not supposed to be hunky-dory, whatever, but then you're supposed to work with what you are given.
Yes.
And I am content with the decisions that I've made because they've brought me to where I'm at.
Okay.
But then not all of us are as fortunate.
Yeah.
But
I feel like with the work that you do bring in that political science aspect, history.
Like when I got to master's level, like my research, like.
No, I mean the work that you do online, because that's the work I'm familiar with. I feel like your online work is that.
Yeah.
So all the things I suppose you have learned and maybe you wish you were doing full-time, you do get to do them online, and it does shine through, in case you didn't know. So we see it, we appreciate it, and I'm sure you want to do more, but you will. You still have time.
I still have time.
Yeah.
Like,
So, but I want you to know that we see it. Like for me, you're more of a political guy than a tech guy. Like you always say, I'm a tech guy. I'm like, okay. I'm sure he is. I've never seen him touch a computer. He's always on the street yakking about politics. That's what I know him for. Yeah, bro. So you are doing that work, even though no one's employing you to do it. Maybe I don't know. Maybe
like the first taste of my authentic self that I found in my professional life was when I started my master's, which I didn't finish, but I started my master's and my research topic that was made available to me by a very brilliant supervisor, I won't name her, but I'm very grateful for having come across them, is the biases that exist in algorithms that we use in all social media. You know, like there's an instance, I don't know if you're familiar with it, when Google in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, there was that controversy where people would be Googling black people, and then whenever you typed anything on Google just related to black people, the automatic searches that would come up would be negative things about.
Wow, no,
black,
I didn't know about that.
Oh man, I'll send you a few books.
Okay.
But when I got into that space, I'm like, oh, I care about this.
Okay.
And it's tech related.
The two merged.
Man,
that is so cool.
And it took almost 10 years to get to that point, you know?
Wow.
So things tend to work out. That's the field I am most concerned about, most passionate about, because it brings both sides of me, the technical guy.
Yes, and you did say you're a very logical, objective guy. So then that logical part of you, the tech, it goes with the tech.
Yeah.
And then you care about people and
So
nice.
Things tend to work out.
And not everyone who cares about people will go into social work. Some guys will go into tech and care about people within the tech space. So come on, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
So things worked out. I think we have said enough. Is there anything that we've missed? Did I want to ask you something? Yes, I wanted to ask you about your children. When you have children, will you allow them then to study anything that they want? Yeah, definitely. Okay. I am so grateful I had the mother that I had.
Okay.
My mom, my mom interpreted my curiosity with the thing that most people would be curious with in the 21st century. And she bought me a computer because of that.
Wow, that is amazing. Yeah.
And from that, the curiosity with tech was born.
Okay.
But I think she would have let me do whatever the hell I wanted. But me being the person that I am, I recognized the situation I was coming from, and I was like,
yeah, I get you. So are you doing things that will ensure that your kids don't have to recognize the situation they're coming from?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
If those motherfuckers want to be...
you setting it up for them. But guys, if you fall, there's a stack of racks to cushion you. Don't worry about it. And I find that abantu who come from those homes where they know that should they fall, they will have a cushion, they tend to actually do very well because they don't spend energy worrying about you.
They are my friends. They are my friends. I see myself in the fathers of my closest friends.
I get you.
Because I am what their fathers
were for them. Yeah. That's beautiful.
Like my friends are coconuts of massive proportions. And me, I'm this. Like people are so confused. Can't you change because like my personality changes.
Yes, I get
me
you.
Me speaking English and me Tetis Xhosa. If I'm speaking English, you're still safe. If you get me to a point by Tetis Xhosa, usengozini.
Usekakeni.
So when I look at my friends and I meet their dads, I'm like, yo, that's me.
That's me.
You know, and they don't get how privileged they are that their dad was me. You know, they don't get that part, but
That's
I have to
beautiful.
be that person.
That's beautiful.
I have to build that foundation.
Yes.
I have to make sure that my nieces and nephews, my kids, everyone sorted. I was
Sorted.
war. I was
white
war.
fence.
You know, I
I
was
was
war.
war.
You might,
You're
might
always cooking
yeah,
the
it's fine.
like I
you
have.
can make a mistake. You know, you can
I
fall
have.
pregnant. You can get
Yes.
whatever. But then,
The corny mechanisms.
yeah. See here.
I
Yeah, see here.
love
Yeah.
that.
So that's my motivation,
Oh, that's beautiful.
and having the presence of mind to recognize myself in other people, like my
I
friends.
don't know, you're the last born.
So I have a younger sister.
Oh, okay.
I have a baby sister.
Okay, cool.
But I was the last born, and I'm 11 years older than my little sister.
Oh, for like 11 years.
Yeah, so
and
I was
then
the
things
youngest.
changed.
Yeah. So I'm the middle child.
Okay.
Middle child. Yeah.
No, kudos to you for recognizing that and wanting to secure the bag for the family.
Yeah. Like.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Do you think
But
if you
then-
had remained the youngest, you would be like this?
Yeah.
Think so?
Yeah.
Because do you think because you're a man, you are like this?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Don't look
Men
at
tend
17.
to. Yeah.
You know, don't look at 17
Yeah.
at a time when I didn't understand what was the point of it.
Okay.
And abatswana ekhaya,
Okay.
kutata. So I went through an initiation process that was not easily accessible in the Eastern Cape.
Yes.
Especially
So it
Epha.
was deep.
It was deep.
Okay.
I was put into this thing, and it was so perfect for who I am because
Yes.
it's a 3-month process.
Wow.
And it was so alien to me. I absorbed it and only found the significance of certain things, well, the whole thing, but certain things in particular after the fact. I'm like,
Okay.
that was the point of
wow,
that.
that's
That was-
beautiful.
but then that experience shaped me to be the person that I am. You
Yes.
know, like my family and friends know me as the guy. If I'm around, if you are my family, if you are my friends, if you are in that circle, you are provided for and you are protected. That's me.
I get
You know,
you. I
that's
get
me.
you.
And that for me was what was engraved into me through that process.
Wow.
You know, going through that process really influenced the person that I became.
Yes.
You know, I was gonna say something that I just spaced on now, but yeah, I think I would have been the same person. I'm very protective of my little sister. I'm very protective of my family. Like most people, I even blocked my family from my content. I don't want them to be too close to what I'm doing, so that in future they insulated from whatever pushback or
Yes, because that's coming.
Yeah,
That's
obviously.
coming.
You can't make everyone happy.
Exactly. If you dare to speak on a mic, just know, but something's coming.
Yeah.
I've had my. I don't know if you've ever. No, I've had my fair share, so I would know. Ooh, I've made. No. I try to forget, but I've made my mistakes and I've apologized for them, and I know I was wrong and. So yeah, it does happen. But it tends to be men who care about making money for the family, securing the family. For instance, I have a bigger brother. He's 16 years older than me. And he's that guy. You know, we were joking this morning. He said, oh, someone's calling me. And I was saying, well, you know, I'm the youngest, so no one ever calls me. I'm the last point of contact, like, you know, so, and I was like, well, good luck with that.
Yo.
All the best with that solution,
Mad.
neighbor. So I understand that as a man, yes,
Like
it tends to be you guys.
I have 2 older sisters and 2 older brothers. The eldest brother is late. My older brother is really a soft person. You know, like he's very gentle. And
Okay.
I'm the one. I saw my position when I was a child already.
But okay, I'm gonna have to play this part.
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
You know, like I saw it very early
And
on.
uyayibona, bruh. Yazi into yakhe.
Like, you know, like I don't consult my family. You know,
Okay,
like
you
I
act.
act
Because
like,
you can see what needs to be done. I'll be wasted to consult, buza. Yenza.
and the
That's
trust that my mom gave me
beautiful.
as a kid.
Do you
know.
take after your dad?
No, I take after my mom. My dad.
Was your dad the soft guy then?
You?
Okay.
That man, like,
Yeah.
he passed on when I was 4, but the way everyone describes him, like, he's describing my brother, not me. You know, like, I look like him. There's a portrait of him I'll show you later on, but
nice.
I'm my mom's child.
If
right?
he had lived to raise you, do you think you would have been him? Or do you think you always gonna be this
Like,
way?
I think I would have been more soft.
Okay, more
Because
soft.
there would have been a man in the house to you know?
yeah.
Like, I was hard from, like, the age of 9, 10.
Okay.
You know, like, I had so many fights growing up, man.
Yeah.
Like, I was very smart.
Were you a bully?
No, definitely
You weren't,
not.
but you were
Definitely.
big.
I was big.
You were
Like,
big, but you weren't a bully.
I was friends with the smart kids. I was friends with the gay
Okay,
kids. I was friends with
I
the kids.
get
You know, like,
you.
I really valued uniqueness. You know,
Okay.
anyone that was just like
Yeah.
you know,
And were you
typical,
bullied? Kanye, it was impossible.
Like,
Yeah. Who's gonna
like,
gay?
the fuck? Like, I remember there was this guy, Jacques, if you're out there, I'm sorry, bro. Like, I broke his leg in primary school. And he was not even messing with me. He was messing with a friend of mine, a very small friend of mine. I'm like, yo.
Wow.
So
Let's end this now. What did you do to him? Your knee? To his shin? Or
so
what?
I went to a primary school in PE, a very, I would say not very mixed, but it was mixed. It was mostly colored and few whites and blacks. And so this is like the early 2000s. And so there was that division amongst us, you know, like the whites stuck with their own, the colored stuck with their own, the blacks stuck with their own. And for whatever reason, this dude decided to mess with a friend of mine. And we had a rugby field that was so awkwardly situated at the school where it was on the edge of like a tiny cliff, maybe 20 meters down. And we were playing rugby and he was messing with my friend and that's where we were fighting. And I hit him, he fell.
Oh, he rolled down
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And broke a whole leg.
yeah.
But Njani, like did you ask like how did he break the leg though?
I was what? 11, 10?
Because I'm thinking, does rolling down a cliff break a leg? No, but he hit a rock. Okanye ngoka wayo wabhetyeka. Ukubone?
You know, I haven't thought about this in like 10, 15 years.
Because Nyani, why would roller I mean, there's a band of when you slip. I don't know. Okay.
He had a cast. I don't know if it was fractured or proper. He had a cast on.
Did you get punished or what? Okay.
The principal knew me. I was not.
They knew. You were wrong. There were those kids.
I don't. Yeah, I really. Yo, I used to.
Okay.
Like, I was really that guy. Like, I want to Mosha. Like, even now, if I am ever in any controversy where violence was involved, no, Guti, they didn't Mosha.
Okay.
You know, like they were messing.
Are you
with
quick
me.
to anger?
When I was younger, yeah.
Okay.
But I've been in so many situations where I could have really flushed my entire life down the drain because of my anger.
I'm a very angry woman. I'm very angry, man. Yo, I'm angry. Almost all the time. I'm never not angry. Like, I'm angry. But I feel justified in my anger. That's the thing about me. Like, Andiko, what's the word, Ganene? Unreasonable. I'm not unreasonable. But I feel things deeply. And one of the feelings is anger. And I think it's because I feel hurt. So I think it translates to anger. I feel everything and I feel it deeply. And that's why I'm always angry.
For me, it's always the I will never wake up with the intention of I'll never wake up with the intention of causing you any harm. So Kuteni, why do you have the audacity to try to do that with me?
Yes.
You know? When I was in varsity, I didn't live at res. I lived at home, but I had so many friends. I dated people that lived on campus. I was never at home. I was always on campus.
Yes,
you know?
mixing, yeah.
So because of that, and you know when you
yes, yes.
the township mentality is so much different from the rural mentality. The rural mentality is more togetherness.
Yes.
The township mentality is very fractured.
Okay.
And so my mom has always been a very successful businesswoman. You know, her and my dad were amazing. They really afforded an incredible life for me and my siblings. And because of that, obviously jealousy down in the townships was
of course.
very right, because my mom grew up with the people that lived in my neighborhood. She moved to PE when she was a teenager from the rurals. Her dad was a landowner in the Transkei, whatever, and then she came there for school, wara. So she grew up with these people. And now she's this big time businesswoman, you know, drives nice cars, her kids go to nice schools, you know, and all this. And there was a day I was home when I was usually not home, and I hear a scream. Mama. My little sister, she was probably like 8 or 9 at that time, maybe 10. Like, leave my mom
So
alone.
you would be around 21.
Yeah, somewhere there. So I hear this scream of my little sister screaming, and I'm like, what's going on? I go outside, and as I'm stepping out the gate, I look this way and I see my mom standing in the middle of the street. She's standing in front of the gate, and the front door neighbors, the husband, the wife, and their 2 daughters are literally surrounding my mom, beating her.
Hi, bo.
Yho, zanzobanjwa la, zanzombulala la tata. Dakhula icam kwakhe la, like I was seconds I didn't ask questions.
Wabetha abantu qha.
Yho, daqala ngentombi ezi.
Ujasususe.
Badaya kuye la tata. Yho, zanzombulala. My mom, the person he was attacking, nganqandwa ngumama nglo that he was attacking. Bamntanam uzobanjwa.
And then what?
I was gonna kill that man. I feel not talk, guys. And I was not even gonna feel guilty about it. So my anger after that moment and other instances earlier and after were moments when I reflect. I'm like,
dude,
I could have ruined everything.
Everyone. Yes.
So yeah.
That's very interesting.
So now I take these walks.
But did you ever ask why?
So what was I don't want to even get into that, but it was basically something trivial.
Okay.
They were just looking for a reason.
They just wanted to beat her up. They needed to beat her up.
And they thought I was not there. Like that's the thing.
No. Okay.
Nah.
Okay.
Nah. Like
I'm so happy.
My older sister is borderline insane. Like, like she would have definitely killed them.
Because nabo, I suppose,
this is why the mentality of
relocation, and her fucking success.
Yeah, dude, so and she's just living her life. She's just living her life. My mom,
that is scary.
I grew up, my mom being called the most horrible things. I'm like, confuse dedication and focus and discipline for indakatu. You know, like they make that association so easy. No, she just worked very hard. My mom, I remember being a kid, and my dad passed away when I was 4, so this has to be very early on. I remember being a kid and my dad dropping off my mom for night classes to get a business administration certificate. And as she was doing that, she was also like opening and starting businesses, which was good because when my dad passed on, she inherited his company, she inherited his businesses and had to run them, and she ran them very well, you know. So growing up and having this association this Black People Association of Success being associated with Indagato. I'm like, let's use logic, guys. Like this thing that happens, this thing that happens when successful Black couples make it and they then all of a sudden can't have kids. I have a theory about that.
What's the theory?
The theory for me is what we were talking about with you, where the more exceptional a Black woman or a woman becomes, the smaller the dating pool gets. Okay. But for a man, the more exceptional you get, the bigger the dating pool becomes. And so if you are a man, a Black man that's exceptional, you've probably had a period of years or whatever where you could date and have anyone.
Yes.
And in that process, you probably got an STD that fucked up with your reproductive system.
I love that you put it on the man. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Even if it's not the man, but in that phase when you have all these options, you probably did something that fucked you over. Okay. That the average individual does not have access to get to that point whereby they can fuck themselves over to that. There is a...
Oh, because you had so much access that... I get you. So as our quick chances of getting whatever it was were higher because you were really doing the most because you could.
There is
interesting.
There is a king of England. I think it's King Henry the Eighth. Yeah, it's Henry the Eighth. He had 6 wives though.
Yeah.
That dude killed most, if not all, of his wives because he couldn't have an heir. Like none of them could give him a child or a son. And it is well documented that man probably had syphilis, or had some sort of STD that he would give to his virgin wives because of the period. His wives were virgins when he married them, and then that would mess up their reproductive system to a point where they wouldn't be able to give him the child he wanted. So for me, people always jump to that extraordinary thing. I'm like, no, let's slow down. Let's calculate and see where this equates to, So, yeah, man.
Okay, there's something I wanted to ask. Okay, no, I can't remember it. But something about this product. Oh, yes. So are there tests that you can take? Not STD tests specifically, but like, okay, are there tests that you can take to see who has what and how it can affect reproductive health?
I mean, you can take tests to see if you have like an STI, but it's very expensive. It's not like the
How much
HIV.
is it?
It requires blood and lab work, so it's probably not cheap. It's definitely not cheap.
But I mean, some people do have the money, so they should, I suppose.
But then some of these things, like there's a guy that, there's a documentary, I'll send you the link. I watched it probably when I was a kid. I'll see if I can find the link. This dude had the memory of a goldfish.
Which is good or bad?
Bad. Because he got an STD. I think he got gonorrhea or something, but he got something that affected his nervous system, and his brain is unable to retain any new memories beyond like 10 seconds.
Are you one of those people who, after a certain time dating someone, you stop using protection?
I like testing from the get-go.
Okay.
Like, let's get tested. Yeah. But then, unfortunately, it's usually just HIV. That doesn't catch other things.
Yes.
And it's those other things that usually have those neurological, effects on you.
So, for me, I condomize throughout. Well, I'm never in a relationship. But when I'm messing with these guys, I'm always condomizing because I understand there's a window period. So, if we test today and you have nothing... A, there might be a window. You might be in your window period. But B, you might go miss behind me tomorrow. And then you start your window period. Yeah. So for me, people always say, no, we test. No. Does it work? Because most people don't. I'm like, guys.
And another thing that people don't consider is that HIV is especially infectious in Africa with dark-skinned people, more so than it is with, there is, not now, but back in the day when HIV was rife in Africa, there was I have to go back and look for these, but there's a report about the HIV rates in Seoul, Korea, where they had a huge prostitution issue in that city, and yet relatively low HIV rates. And a couple of Black Americans that were doing a study, whatever, were looking at the discrepancies between high STI infectious rates in developed countries versus HIV, where I'm like, okay, if HIV is easily transmissible on a person-to-person basis wherever they are, then the high STI rates in the UK or Seoul or these developed countries should also include HIV, because they're not using protection. So why are they only getting these other ones and not getting this one? You know, I think Uganda is the first or one of the first countries that eliminated mother-to-child transmission of HIV, and that goes back to like just proper organization of the government to give people condoms, to make people aware. No.
Test while pregnant, in the beginning stages of pregnancy.
In Asia at that period, they were not even doing that, and they were not having the same rates as Africa was. You know, like, I'm like, okay, cool. Why then? And me being me, I read up on why. I'm like, but these are the things that when you say them, like,
conspiracy theory.
Yeah. So,
because I was gonna ask you if you are one of those people who believe that HIV was a biological weapon.
There is a former US soldier that wrote a book. I have a list of things to send you, but this dude basically outlined where HIV came. Like he did his own. He got it. Did his own research on it, and wrote an entire book and said, this is where it was made.
So it was made
like
in a lab.
Okay, hey man, this is the world we live in. You can't say certain things.
Yes,
but
don't worry. I thought maybe this is just us now. Yeah,
so
I know. Cut it.
Okay, should we cut it though?
No, don't look. If you don't want to cut something, don't cut it.
Okay. But then,
if you're comfortable.
What was I saying?
Busiti, he went and looked and he found where it was found.
So there is something very strange that people that study HIV find, that it is a virus that is 300 times smaller than the nearest smallest virus that exists.
Okay.
You know, that's not natural. That's something that people that study these things, like, that's suspicious.
Okay.
Like, how can viruses have this structure and whatnot, and then all of a sudden, out of the blue, this one comes up and it is so much more different than every other virus that came before it.
Before virus is built upon virus. I lena eat and then lena eat. No go close to lay.
And there is a guy that won the Nobel Prize that got ruined. Like, I think he died recently or a few years ago. This is a Nobel laureate that they destroyed his career because he was basically saying HIV has never been proven to cause AIDS. And to this day, like, I find this as amazing, but to this day, there hasn't been a paper that definitively says HIV causes AIDS.
So what does that mean? AIDS is something else? What is it?
AIDS is a condition that the human body finds itself in when the immune system is compromised to a point where it's unrecoverable.
Okay.
So now the functioning idea is that HIV gets the human body to that point,
to a state of AIDS.
Yeah, but then the unfortunate thing, or I don't know, fortunate or unfortunate thing, is that no one out there has done the empirical research to prove that this is how it does that. This is how you track it from HIV all the way to AIDS. It is the presumed cause of HIV.
Okay.
It is not like, but then whenever it's spoken about as the cause of AIDS. But then empirically speaking, scientists do not have a paper that it is the presumed paper. And then this dude was basically saying, show me Show me the actual work that proves that this thing causes this thing. And that's the controversy that got Thabo Mbeki into trouble. Because this gentleman was on that committee that Thabo Mbeki, okay, not this gentleman specifically, but a colleague of his. He has a French last name. I'm looking, but he was on that committee in the 2000s that Thabo Mbeki put together to say, let's actually prove it that this thing causes this, and then I'll sign the bill to give people ARVs. That has never happened. Did
he end up signing the?
Yeah, he did.
Because of
the pressures, you know. But then when you look at that situation again, you ask yourself, okay, South Africans don't pay for ARVs, but someone is paying someone who's making money from it. And when you follow that trail, oh my goodness.
Yes, I get
but
you.
We have to have like a segment here where we actually close it off.
Yes,
so that we
okay,
can
let's
cut,
close it,
we can cut it. So
yes, okay.
Have we missed anything?
No.
We haven't missed anything?
No,
okay,
absolutely nothing.
So you mentioned you were going to the Congo on Thursday?
So it will be what, 13th?
13th,
yeah, 13th June, I think.
Yeah, and what can people expect?
I think, okay, so I'll be starting in Kinshasa, which is the capital, and I'll just be showing you guys Kinshasa. So I'll be showing you guys a part of the DRC that is not war-torn. So just how other people live who are not in the war zone. So I'll be going out, doing fun things, but also I suppose whether consciously or subconsciously, we will see how the war affects the whole country. Okay. Whether you are in the eastern part of DRC or not, you will be affected. Okay. And then I'll be moving on to Goma, which is the place of refuge, eastern DRC. And, you know, I've asked around, hey, is there a safe road that connects Kinshasa to Goma? And people have said no. So I'll have to then take a boat or boats. I will have to use the Congo River, which is about 3.5 weeks journey to Goma. So that's what you guys can expect. It's going to be good.
And how long are you going to be there? For those 3 weeks or?
No, I tend to stay. I'm going to stay. I mean, my visa is 3 months. So I'm DRC, man. It's in Zulu, yeah. So I'm probably going to stay maybe a week and a half in Kinshasa, then take the 3.5 weeks. That would be about 4 or 5 weeks, I don't know. And then, so that's already a month and a week. And then do some work, maybe about 2 weeks. So how many is that? About 2 months? But when I'm in the DRC, there's always work coming in. Like, obviously, because it's such a beautiful and vast country and whatever, so much is happening. I always get ideas like, oh, well, while I'm still here, why don't I? For instance, I wanted to do Embo. I wanted to go to Embo. Yes, like, masi Embo singaba khona thina. Xa ku duduma. Ebhayi niyasho ba Embo zipilali zakho. Nazilal. Okay, so that's why you wouldn't get it. But as Lalin City, Embo, as in Izulu Malbuya lapho livela khona. So Embo is a place of origin for Bantu people. Embo. So we are said to have come from DRC or moved past, in our migration down south. We passed there somehow, whatever. So there's a tribe called the Mbo tribe. It's in the DRC, Konanase, Cameroon. So, but unfortunately, they are, I think, Base Ituri, a region that is quite volatile right now. So I can't go there, to the Mbo people to say, guys, Masienembo, Siobona, where we come from. But there's other work happening in the Congo basin. I mean, I'd like to go into the Congo rainforest to see what's happening there. I want to see, you know what? Oh, Mamla, yeah, oh, Mami, what? Oh, Mamlambo, all those types of things. So probably after that, because the work is tiring, depending on how tired I am and depending on how much money I have. Because I'm not charging for this, guys. This project, I'm not going to charge clothes trains for. Because I need it to reach as many people as possible. I don't want it to put people over a paywall, nothing. Which goes back to Lando. Can you see where I'm moving with the show? where ndifuna ibe indawo yethu. You know, indawo yabantu, where things happen. And then we'll see where the money will come
The
from.
universe will provide.
Yes, thank
The
you for
universe
saying.
will provide.
Thank you, Itu, because I needed to hear that. And I think the universe sent. You are the universe, by the way. You are me. I am you. So you're just reflecting back to me what is already. Thank you. So so depending on how tired I am, this is meaningful work. I love meaningful work. It gives me energy. But maybe I'll be tired or whatever. But I do want to we have to go into the Congo forest. No one goes. No one black anyway. No one African ever goes. It's always the white guys from the BBC and we have to go. We deserve it. Masiyeni. And abantu basa Congo, when I say I want to go into the Congo, it's dangerous. Don't go, no. Masiyeni.
Ungalibali ke ngoba amaxhwele mathwasa pha xa befuna
ndifuna uyabona lo mabanibonise. I'd love to see that. Nyani baye Congo? That's beautiful. That's a nice angle.
Do you know Credo Muto?
Yes.
Yeah, he speaks about it. He speaks a lot about it. He went through his initiation to some Sangoma secret society in the Congo, where he was told he has to go into a grave at night, dig up a freshly buried body, cut off a hand.
Did he do it?
Yeah, he did.
Now, do you think they would allow me to witness that?
No.
Without implicating me? Like without forcing me to join the cult or whatever it's called?
The way he described it, it was for Isangoma.
Okay.
You know, first of all, Isangoma.
Okay, so it's not open to the public. No, I mean, look, I don't consider myself the public though. I don't consider myself the public. Like
you want the underground gang on Instagram?
No, I'm like, I feel like I could. Mna itu ndingakwazi uyofika pa. Ndingathetha nozibana, thethe nozibana ndithethelele athi nanku umuntu ufuna ubona. No cameras.
Ungakafiki ngoku, ne? Ungumani?
Must be.
Yeah. Thetha ke nosbiya baye pha before ufike.
Nice, I like
Thetha nabo bakhe nje.
Ne bayavula indlela.
Ba network.
I like that. Thank you. I will. Mabahambe bayondenzelela. I really want to explore the Congo forest. And I want them to come up. Ndingazicinganga umuntu ethethe into okanye umuntu axwaye inyoka ndithi hey uyaphi ndiyakulandela basambe into ezinjalo.
Hey lumka man lumka. When it comes to
those okay.
Sop khumbula benthe da spend 3 months but siphethe liqhwele. Sasiphethe liqhwele.
Nanibonisa into pha?
Yo fundini.
Uzanixelela. I have to. Are you allowed to speak on it?
No.
He will find you.
But lana buyithetha about the pillow talk. The pillow talk, like women know so much about initiation because the pillow talk.
Uyansile itu yes. Akho ndoda inoma esihlangalaleni ithi guys kwenza le nale because men are always very secretive about that. But how did it get to us? Says a pillow talk.
So le DRC izoqala kwi pillow talk no sisi ngoba ikuse efonini. Man sayifuna iPhone. Yeah.
Yes. And you know what, guys? How to impress a woman? Talk about the DRC and how much you care. That can also kuba in 90 points.
Movement. Ungaqala movement dangerous, yes?
Ne?
Aziphiwe ityani bazi support le way.
Bene. Okay, no. Oh, now I get you kankuve. Divile. Onions.
Hayi masiyeke apha. The dangerous thought. Popi.
Thank you so much.
This has been amazing. I hope your path is filled with nothing but success as well.
Thank you. I hope to see you again here as a big woman, now a big yeah. Somewhere far away.
Listen, like I've said this to a number of my guests so far that part of the experience has an element of time to it. And so I was saying to Grace, I want you here in 5 years' time again.
Yes.
Sibone upi. Sibonele into besiyithethile, yile yenzekile, you know?
Yeah, and how have you changed also? Because there are some things.
Grown?
Yeah.
And how have the people that have listened to you grown themselves and changed? Would they be as big a supporter in 5 years' time as they were when they first heard you? So
yes, bruh.
the experience is not
I
something.
might be a different person. Or dika, or cancelled, or wrongo when I eat, or wrongo, or cancelishwe. Who has veered off the path? You never know. It's gonna be interesting. Now I want to see how you. Yeah. You
come
will
back
grow.
in a year.
Yeah.
Come back in a year.
I'll be back. I'll be back. Thank you so much.
Ooh.